Greetings, this is Doc Ock coming to you live and direct from Black Facts Headquarters Central this evening with another installment of Doc Ock at noon and 9. Let's get on it symphonic because we've had a busy day today. But we've got a good presentation for you today, and we've already got our presentation for tomorrow all worked out. Yes. So make sure, if you're not already, make sure to be looking at us on our YouTube channel, the Tubular Black Facts channel. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. Meanwhile, let's get on it. Our proverb for today is, don't try to make someone hate the person he loves, for he will still go on loving, but he will hate you. Don't try to make someone hate the person he loves, for he will still go on loving, but he will hate you. Well, that sounds like some timely advice for somebody. And obviously, you can replace the he with a she, and it would work just as well, obviously. And I believe that's from Senegal. That's a Senegalese proverb. Now, moving on. We're going to be going ahead and getting off into our presentation tonight. You know what? I got so excited about what I was doing that I just realized I got a little bit mixed up. So let me see if I can unmix myself betwixt and between, because we're doing Mary Fields tonight, not Sojourner Truth. And that's where I had a little bit of a mix-up. Trying to do two things at the same time, you know, you can always have a few difficulties, but I think I have an easy fix right here, and I'm just gonna move right on down the line, keep it going, because I got everything kind of set up here to work this out. Okay, and we're gonna start right about there. All right, there we go. And we're gonna put this over here. Oh, I see what I did now. All right, so I gotta move some stuff here. All right, so in the meanwhile, we had started reading about Mary Stagecoach Fields a few days ago, a couple of days ago. We had started reading about her and describing her life and how she lived her life. Well, Mary Stagecoach Fields is absolutely a very interesting person to whose life we would like to look at. However, there are a few things about Mary's life that have been, you could say, mythologized a little bit. So, for instance, they call her Mary Stagecoach Fields, but she actually never drove a stagecoach. She did have a wagon, and she had a horse, but again, some people have gotten that confused and thought that she had a mule. But if you know what a mule looks like, and you look at what she was pushing, that was no mule. And it was not my mother. Okay, yeah, that wasn't, and it definitely wasn't my wife. So at any rate, we're going to go ahead and continue talking about Mary Stagecoach Fields tonight, but we're just going to move a few things here around so that as we tell the story will make some sense. All right, and we're going to go ahead and put that right over there. All right, now, um, and let's see, was there any other things I wanted to clear up about Mary Stagecoach Fields? I think that was the main thing that people get confused on, is that she actually never was a stagecoach driver, but she did deliver the U.S. mail. That part is definite, and she was one of the first women to deliver the U.S. mail. So that's also a very notable thing that Mary Stagecoach Fields did. Is she was um, a mail person, you could say, a mail deliverer, mail carrier, mail courier, however you want to look at that. The point here is that in delivering this mail, at the time that she was delivering it, it was a very dangerous job. It's somewhat dangerous today because you got to fight off the dogs and different things like that. But in Mary's day, she had more than dogs to worry about. She had some two-footed critters that she really had to be concerned about, because those two-footed critters were liable to take you out. And so for that reason, Mary carried a 38, and she also sometimes she carried a shotgun. She might have carried a 40 gauge. Okay, Mary wasn't playing with these fools. Okay, she was not playing with them, not even one little bit. And so she was someone you really didn't want to mess with. Now, um, we do have a book that we were able to find, but I don't have the images up here yet from the book. We'll read the book maybe tomorrow night or the next night. We'll read from the book. But in the meanwhile, and here's the title for the book. I'm gonna put this up there now so you can see what that book looks like, the cover of the book. Yeah, I found there's not that many books written about Mary Stagecoach Fields. There are a few, but they're few and far between. Very few and far between. And then you have to always be on the lookout for incorrect information, because that can happen at any time. Matter of fact, I think what I'm going to do tonight, I'm going to read a lot of this stuff that we've got right here. Let's see here. I'm going to put this back up there. Yeah, you have to excuse me. I've been working on this all day. You would think that I had a shortage of time, or I haven't been working on this. I've been sleeping on the job or something, but I actually have been working on this all day since I finished my other show. I haven't had a chance even really to breathe. I just barely got a chance to eat. Just barely got a chance to eat. So let me let me finish doing this here, and then we'll be good to go. Okay. All right. So, and I'm going to read something that the U.S. Postal Service wrote about Mary Stagecoach Fields, because they had some things they wanted to say about her too. The one thing they haven't done is they have not created, at least I haven't seen it. I have not seen a stamp with Mary Stagecoach Fields on it yet, but she certainly deserves a stamp, more so even than many of the other people that they've already put on stamps. Yeah, Mary definitely deserves a stamp or two. For sure, for sure. Okay, now let's see if I can get all this up here. All right. All right, looks good. Okay, we're ready to go. Now, let's get this party started. All right. And okay, as soon as I get this to work here. Okay, that should do it. And then we go to here. Okay, all right, now. Yeah, sometimes this takes more work than you could ever believe. Trying to find all the right pictures to go along with the message of what it is that you're trying to say can actually make for a very difficult and somewhat stressful day, because each and every image that you see on the screen takes more than just a few minutes. And here we are. All right, now. So here's the book I was telling you about. The book is called Fearless Mary. And Mary Stagecoach Fields is definitely somebody who was certainly fearless, if nothing else. Let's continue reading what we had been reading about her yesterday, and then maybe I'll read some of the. Well, you know what? Let's go through a little bit of a few of these images here, and then maybe I can read. I'll read along with it as we go here. Okay, all of this that we're doing right now is in celebration of Juneteenth. This being the 156th Juneteenth since 1865. Since 1865. It's either 65 or 66, whichever, but right around in there. Now, Mary Stagecoach Fields, she she was one of those people, like many of us, who did not know exactly when she was born. Neither did she know the day, the month, or the year that she was born. So we have to approximate when, we have to guess at when she was actually born. And Mary had a hard time with guessing games. So what she used to do is she used to celebrate her birthday 2 times a year. Yeah, instead of having one birthday, she'd have 2 birthdays every year. And she was such a phenomenon in her neck of the woods that when she celebrated her birthday, the whole town called a holiday and everybody would take the day off. They shut the school down and everything because Mary Stagecoach Fields was having a birthday. Yep, and everybody was invited to the party. So she could be a very serious woman, as you see her here with her 1876 Winchester carbine. Yeah, you don't want to mess with her with that one, because that actually looks like them repeating rifles we've been seeing on Gunsmoke that the Army got and was advantageous in fighting off the so-called Indians, the Native Americans. Yeah, that's what that looks like. I'm not sure if that's what it is or not. I have to do a little more research on that 1876 Winchester carbine, but certainly it's dangerous. So I'm going to cycle through these images of Mary while I continue to read. Oh, and you see her here. That's actually not the carbine she's got there. I believe that's a double barrel shotgun. So that's what I'm saying. I know she carried a 38 up under her dress. Yeah, she kept a 38. She was packing a 38 because Mary wasn't playing. And if all else failed, she punched somebody out. She would knock you out. So that song, Mama Gonna Knock You Out. Mama Gonna Knock You Out. This is who they were talking about. Mary Stagecoach Fields. They say she cussed like a sailor, but she didn't do it around the children, or at least I've never heard her. Eddie sat quiet for a moment as the memories rolled back in his mind. We're continuing the story of Eddie, Cowboy Eddy, as he remembers Mary Stagecoach Fields, because she wasn't around that long ago. There are still people around that could actually remember Mary Stagecoach Fields. She loved to scare us, tease us really, but she was just playing. The little ones were told she would eat you if you're bad, and sometimes she made us believers. They called her Stagecoach Mary because she used the stagecoach to deliver mail. She brought supplies from the train in Cascade and delivered them to the mission. She always made it no matter what the weather was like. One Christmas, we had a blizzard and she was late. The nuns were expecting her. The road was drifting in and we were all worried. After supper and long after dark, we heard her shouting outside. She made it. She had gotten stuck in a snowdrift and had to abandon the stagecoach, but she put that mail in her backpack and snowshoed the rest of the way to the mission. She brought us peanuts for all the children. We got a big bag of peanuts for Christmas. It wasn't much, but it was the best peanuts I ever had. Peanuts don't taste like that anymore. Eddie looked out the window. Whatever happened to her? I asked. She stopped bringing the mail when I was about 9 years old. She retired. She lived in Cascade until she died. Everybody knew her. She was a good lady. The St. Peter's Mission is located 10.5 miles outside of Cascade down the old Mission Road. It was established in 1865 to bring Christianity to the Blackfeet Indians. It's a pleasant road in the summer in a pickup, but wagon travel in winter must have been a nightmare. Along the way, you pass Square Butte, and not one but 2 nuclear missile silos. When you reach the mission, what's left is the remains of an old stone church, some old cabins and barns, and a cemetery on top of the hill, and a sign marking the place and giving a brief history. Mary Fields was born a slave in Hickman County, Tennessee, in 1832, thereabouts. In 1895, she became the first African-American female mail carrier in the entire USA. She was awarded a rural mail contract to deliver mail and goods from Cascade, Montana to the St. Peter's Mission. She was given the job because of her skill and speed and hitching up a team of horses. Mary first came to Montana because her friend, Mother Superior Amadeus, had been sent there. Mother Amadeus had gotten sick, and Mary came from Ohio, Toledo, Ohio to be exact, to care for her. She never left Montana again. She worked at the mission doing maintenance and gardening until she got in an argument one day with a white male janitor. They both pulled guns on each other. After the incident, the bishop from Great Falls demanded Mary leave the mission. She later got a job delivering the mission's mail. She was known for outrageous behavior, smoking cigars, drinking, cussing, having gunfights and fistfights with men, wearing men's clothing and acting in general like she didn't give a hoot what you think. She was 6 feet tall. There are amazing tales of her fighting off bandits or packs of wolves on her mail route, as well as stories of her drinking in bars with men in a time when you just didn't do that. Respectable ladies certainly didn't even go in saloons. Watch Gunsmoke, you see what I mean. The stories of her toughness changed in her later years. She babysat many Cascade children and loved to tend to the flowers in her garden. She also loved baseball and helped the local team mending their uniforms and taking care of the bats and equipment. She was beloved in Cascade, and when her health was failing, the town mayor brought her to the Columbus Hospital in Great Falls, Montana, where she lingered until she died. They buried her in Cascade at the Hillside Cemetery right along her mail route. Mary was 63 when she took on her mail route. A lot can happen in a person's life in that many years. I cannot imagine how tough her life must have been up to that point. One thing is clear. By the time she arrived in Montana, She was defiant, unapologetic, and tough as nails. And she didn't give a hoot what anybody thought about the way she dressed, talked, or acted. In 1959, Montana-born movie star Gary Cooper wrote an article for Ebony magazine about Mary Fields. He said of her, born a slave somewhere in Tennessee, Mary lived to become one of the freest souls ever to draw breath, or a 38. I came home from school one day and I could see the flashing lights of an ambulance coming from Eddie's house on the hilltop. I walked up the hill to see what was going on. I got there just in time to see them carry old Eddie away. I was an honorary pallbearer at the funeral, though my dad did the actual heavy lifting. As I sat and listened to the sermon, I smiled to myself. I started to laugh. I was imagining Eddie and Mary up in heaven eating peanuts. Later, outside, standing with a group of cowboys, I did something I shouldn't have. I had my first cigarette. And this article was written by a man by the name of Merle Travis Peterson, who likes to play country music with his band, and he's also a historian and has appeared on national TV. But as you can see, even though Mary was probably born about 1832, our memory stretches back all that way to 1832. Or like one of my teachers told me when I asked him, I said, well, Mr. Chigamba, how long is it going to take for me to just learn one song on the Mbira? And Mr. Chigamba tells me 1,000 years. And I look at him and I say, well, Mr. Chigamba, I don't think I'm going to live to be 1,000 years old. And he said, well, we've been playing Chain Tame Goode that long. And then it dawned on me what he was saying. It wasn't a matter of my lifespan. It was a matter of mine added to my parents, added to my grandparents, and all my great, 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 great grandparents, which would take me all the way back into Mary Fields' time and beyond. So memory is there. And we have a collective memory that we need to tap into. And that's what I'm trying to help you all formulate, is a collective memory, so that you can remember these stories that we're telling here, and don't just remember them as bits of flotsam and jetsam to be tossed around all over the ocean, but remember them as gems of wisdom to be passed on to your children and your great-grandchildren and their great-grandchildren ad infinitum. Remember them like that. So for tonight, we're going to say peace out. To all you little ones out there, we say it's time to put your little head on your little pillow, on your little bed. Close those eyes and wait for that sun to rise. And when you feel those sunbeams beaming down on your eyes, you know that it's time for you to rise and shine. Your time will come before the noonday sun. And in the meanwhile, for all you adults out there, between now and noon, we need y'all to do something for us. If you could do us a little favor and just go ahead and give us a like if you're still watching on Facebook. If you switched over to our Tubular Black Facts channel, then go ahead and give us a thumbs up on the tube. And last but not least, don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Just do those 3 things. 3 things. That's all we ask of you tonight. In the meanwhile, peace out without a doubt. Of course, with justice, because anything less disgusts us. And we don't like to be disgusted.